Hey guys, Roman Talk Football here, back again with another video on the channel. Now today we are talking about the Premier League again, and obviously the latest news has come out overnight. Now, I'm recording this on the Monday morning. Obviously last night, Sunday, broke that Tottenham have sacked Antonio Conte, and I think we all saw it coming purely because of what was said last weekend, not the weekend just gone, the weekend before when the Premier League last played, after they drew 3-3 with Southampton after being 3-1 up. So today in the video we're going to talk about what went well, what went wrong, and what they should look to do in the summer when they are obviously going to appoint a new manager, because, well, I'll get into explanation in the video on what was said last night in the club statement, and I'll let you know. Let me know in the comments down below if you who you think should be appointed as the new manager of Tottenham. Anyway, let's get into it. So obviously Antonio Conte was appointed back in November 2021, so he lasted about 16 months, I think, in charge of Tottenham on an 18-month contract, obviously replacing former Wolves manager Nuno Espirito Santo, who was sacked following a 3-0 defeat to Manchester United in October. And life for Conte started off a bit slow. I mean, they got a 2-1 win against Leeds on the first game, his first game in charge, but shortly towards January of that season, they sort of tilted off a bit and looked like they were going to miss out on top four. In January that year, last January in 2022, they did strengthen well, bringing in the likes of Dejan Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur from Juventus, and a few patches together, a front three of Son, Kulusevski and Harry Kane managed to get Tottenham's goals soaring, and they managed to pip North London rivals Arsenal to 4th place, and Champions League qualification was on the card. However, no trophies yet again for Conte in both the League Cup and FA Cup, as they were knocked out by, I can't remember, they were knocked out before in the latter stages of both competitions. So yeah, so it looked like it was going well then. And the summer business went quite well for Conte as well. I think they brought in the likes of Basuma, Jed Spence, Richarlison, Clement Longley, some really good players that could build a squad round. And this season did start off very well for Tottenham, as I think they were on 23 points after 10 games. I think that was Tottenham's best ever start in the Premier League. Obviously, the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City, they were level with them at that time in the season. But since then, it all pilted away. Home form, away form, all form, not been consistent enough. And I think, to be honest with you, we had saw this coming. Obviously, Conte was on leave in February this year because of, obviously, he had to have surgery done. So he missed a couple of games, but came back for a 4-1 mauling at Leicester before taking more time off to come back for the AC Milan Champions League second leg, which they ended up losing 1-0 on aggregate to AC Milan, being knocked out of the Champions League, plus being knocked out of the League Cup and FA Cup by Sheffield United, who are in the Championship. Obviously, it's not looking good for a side who haven't won a trophy since 2008 when they beat Chelsea to win the League Cup. Since then, nothing has been won by Tottenham. It was not looking great. And on to last weekend, where they drew 3-3 with Southampton, and obviously the press conference afterwards saw Conte slam his players, calling them selfish, saying they don't care about the club, and saying how they've won one trophy in 20 years with several different managers, including Mourinho and Pochettino, not winning nothing there. Just shows you Tottenham at the moment are a bit of a failure club. And obviously the only thing they now compete for is top four. But the trouble is, with the likes of Newcastle, Liverpool behind them with games in hand, it could be tough trying to keep in top four. And I think after this press conference, we all thought Conte was going to be sacked. Obviously, he did go a bit quiet last week. But obviously last night on Sunday, they announced that Antonio Conte will be leaving the club by mutual consent, with Christian Stellini, who took over from Conte while he was away on surgery, on medical leave, will be taking over the final 10 games with Ryan Mason as his assistant. So was this a shock that I thought Conte was sacked? Well, no, I don't think it really was a shock to the system at all, because I thought Tottenham have been, like I said, very inconsistent this season. The style of football they play under Conte, I thought, was boring. It was sort of a similar way he was trying to go when he was in charge of Chelsea, which of course won the league back in 2017. But it just does not work when you've got them calibre of players that can't play that 3-5-2 sort of formation. And I think a lot of Tottenham fans were very happy when Conte came in, but by the end, I was listening to a lot of callers, I think on TalkSport and on Obsebrev and 606 were saying that Conte had to go because the style of football was not working. They have been scored. Yes, they've scored. I think only Arsenal and Manchester City have scored more goals in the league than Tottenham this season. But if you look at the Premier League, in the top 10 or top 12, they've conceded the most goals. So clearly, defensive issues have been a problem, especially when they have been bringing in some decent defenders like Christian Romero and Clement Longley. And it just shows you that there's been a lot of problems defensively wise, and I think they need a massive clear out in the summer. Now, do I think they'll get top four? I'm not sure they will get top four. I mean, I haven't seen the running of fixtures they've got at the end of the season. I know the next game's against Everton, but if I look at the fixtures now, I'm just trying to find them. They've got 10 games left. They've still got welcome Manchester United. Still got to come home. They've still got to go to Anfield. Them two, and still got to go to Newcastle. So them 3 games, I think they're 3 games back to back. They've got Newcastle, Manchester United, Liverpool back to back to back, and that will tell me if they think they can get top 4. I think after the break they've got Everton and Bournemouth, so that'll be a bit more easier games. But they've got to place Newcastle away, Manchester United at home, Liverpool away, back to back to back. Do I think they'll get top 4? Well, no, because this season they've just been an absolute. Important. Yes, they've scored a lot of goals, but that's down to Harry Kane. You look at Kulusevski, you look at Heung-min Son. These two have been very underperforming for Tottenham this season. Richarlison still yet to score a goal in the league, very underperforming, a bit of waste of money, and some of the signings have been pretty poor as well. When you look at the paper, they bought these players in, you thought they were going to be decent, but even likes of Basuma have been poor. Jed Spence, not done much, been loaned out. Pedro Porro, I know he's only signed in January, but still not been a great signing. I think he needs time to improve, but I think a lot of Tottenham fans don't like him anyway. So Christian Romero, World Cup winner, obviously won the World Cup. Argentina hasn't been very underperforming since coming back from the World Cup. But I think you could give a job to Christian to lead the rest of the season. I think that's the perfect thing to do, just leave it interim because there's literally only 10 games left and then build for next season. Who do I think they should get as manager? Well, I think it's pretty obvious who they should get. So my thoughts on who they should get as manager, I think it has to be Julian Nagelsmann. The man's just been sacked by Bayern Munich. I think he's a very good manager. He's shown at Leipzig and Hoffenheim before that he can do a job. Bayern Munich, obviously, a bit surprised that he was sacked by Bayern last week because I thought Bayern had a good season. I know they're sitting second in the Bundesliga, but they did beat PSG in the Champions League and had Manchester City in the quarterfinals and still had a good chance of winning the Bundesliga, of course. So I thought it was a bit of a surprise, but obviously they went for Thomas Tuchel. I think if he was still available, I would be a good point for Tottenham as well. Obviously he's not now, but the trouble is, will Nagelsmann want to go to Tottenham? I think he would, but I think he wants to take a break. I don't think they should go back for Pochettino. I think that sort of era of Tottenham's gone. Yes, the football was good under Pochettino. They got back a second place finish and a third place finish. But the trouble is, I think that sort of the calibre of players have gone. I know there's still a few left still from when Pochettino was there, like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Eric Dyer, Ben Davis, Hugo Lloris. They're all still there from players who were improved a lot under Poch. But I think they want to go a different sort of path. I don't think they want to go backwards. I think if they went back to Pochettino, it would be going backwards because if you remember, yes, he got them to a Champions League final, but by the time of that in the season, they were struggling. They only just scraped 4th, and the following season, they obviously started it off very poorly. But let me know down in the comments below who you think Tottenham's new manager should be. Well, anyway, guys, that'll be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, make sure you subscribe to the channel, please. I'm on the road to 100 subscribers. Much appreciated. Thanks all for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.